Be sure to cook. Today we're going to be doing meatball subs. We're going to do everything homemade. And I'm going to add a little Creole seasoning inside of there. It's going to give this a great stir. That guys, I am good to go. I hear you. Yes. Oh my God, that is wonderful. So that was about 4 to 5. Come back. Bye. Welcome back to another episode of Be Sure to Cook. Today we're making pork egg roast and spring roast. So let's do this and stay tuned. Okay, well, before we start off, I want to explain what is an egg roll and a spring roll. Okay, this is an egg roll wrapper and this is a spring roll wrapper. Okay, an egg roll wrapper is a little thicker than a spring roll wrapper. A spring roll wrapper is a real thin see-through wrapper, and an egg roll wrapper is your normal egg rolls. You know, a little thicker, doughy consistency. This is not a doughy consistency. It's more like a light, airy, fluffy, crispy, crunchy consistency. And this is a more doughy consistency, like your normal egg roll that you get. A spring roll's got a crispy, thin outer layer. This is a thicker one. Just explaining. We're making the same mix, but it's going into two different wraps. Okay, for some of my vegetables, I'm going to be cutting up green onions, garlic, a little ginger, and carrots. But right now, we're only going to be cutting up garlic and the green onions. We're going to hold back on the ginger for right now. For the simple fact is, we're going to be doing our meat mixture. So let's get the vegetables that we're getting ready to get ready for our meat mixture. So this is garlic, and you can do, you know, regular garlic. Ooh, this garlic is, you don't want to break up. Come on, buddy. You can do like, you know, jar garlic, regular garlic, like me, and you don't really need a lot. I'm going to use one big one. You know, this is a huge garlic here. You can do paste garlic if you want it. They have some type of garlic. Sometimes they're in a tube that is real minced. That's a real good one to use. You know, or you could use whatever you want. Any type of garlic, even if you don't have like fresh garlic, you know, chopped garlic, fresh garlic, you know, paste garlic. Use a garlic powder. You can get garlic powder. You can use that. Garlic comes in all different types of forms. Me, I am going to be using this fresh garlic. They got all different types of garlic. Ready? Okay, for some of my vegetables, I'm going to be cutting up green onions, garlic, a little ginger, and carrots. But right now, we're only going to be cutting up garlic and the green onions. We're going to hold back on the ginger for right now. For the simple fact is, we're going to be doing our meat mixture. So let's get the vegetables that we're getting ready to get ready for our meat mixture. So this is garlic, and you can do, you know, regular garlic. Ooh, this garlic is, you don't want to break up. Come on, buddy. You can do like, you know, jar garlic, regular garlic, like me, and you don't really need a lot. I'm going to use one big one. You know, this is a huge garlic here. You can do paste garlic if you want it. They have some type of garlic. Sometimes they're in a tube that is real minced. That's a real good one to use. You know, or you could use whatever you want. Any type of garlic, even if you don't have like fresh garlic, you know, chopped garlic, fresh garlic, you know, paste garlic. Use a garlic powder. You can get garlic powder. You can use that. Garlic comes in all different types of forms. I am going to be, okay, I've got my green onion that I've already rinsed and washed off very thoroughly, my garlic, and my ginger. Okay, I've got my green onion that I've already rinsed and washed off very thoroughly, my garlic, and my ginger. Now, if you see me cut that ginger, a ginger's got kind of like a potato. It looks like a potato. The brown part is kind of, you just remind you of a potato. You want to peel that part back. You do not want to use that. That's just like the beginning of the, like you get a potato. You don't use that. Now for the ginger kind of looks like a potato. You know how you get a potato and it's got the little, the brown stuff on the potato that we always discard when we're doing mashed potatoes. But the only time we don't discard them if we bake them. But we're not baking. So you want to discard, you want to cut that. And I know you see me take a peeler and peel it off like I'm peeling a potato. And that's what you want. You don't want the brown stuff. You want the stuff inside. So this is the ginger. Just letting you know if you don't know how to work with ginger. Fresh ginger at that. Or you can just get jar ginger or mush ginger. You can get ginger in any kind of way. All right, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to cut off, since I've rinsed all of these off, all I need to do is discard the tips, the back of the tips of the green onions, because we're not going to be using those. Those are going to be discarded and gone in the garbage. And then we're going to take the rest of them and we're going to cut these up fine. And we're going to cut up some of them. We want these cut really, really thin because this is going to go inside of my meat mixture. So we're going to cut these up, and we're going to also, I'm going to show you how I'm going to want to do my garlic and my ginger. Okay, so I have chopped these up thin, but I'm running my knife over them again because I just want little bits and pieces. I don't want that much. I just want to do flavor with this and color. So, and it is for flavor and for color. So right now, I've got my potato peeler. I love this. And I'm going to just take this garlic here and I'm just going to peel this like real thin. Okay, this garlic is really super thin that I can get it super thin. So I'm just going to run my knife over this. Because, oh, you can smell that. I love the smell of garlic, especially fresh garlic. I love the smell. Because when you chop it up, you're getting all that aroma. And I'm going to take this. Now, you're going to get some green onions in here because I'm using the same knife. But that's okay because they're all going to go in together. Unless you're one of those people that have to have everything clean, go ahead. Go for it. I'm like that in a way sometimes too. But with these green onions, it's not really freaking me out too bad. I'm going to do the same thing with the ginger. Now, if you don't have that, chopping it fine as you can is great with the knife. Or putting in a food processor is even much better. Hey, it saves you time. Like I said, I only do this because it relaxes me. I love to cook. I am telling you, I will cook anything. And when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, this is my relaxing place. This is the place that makes me just want to, dream. Because, I'm peaceful, I'm calm, and I'm in my happy place. So I'm doing the same thing with ginger, and I'm not going to be using too much ginger because ginger is strong. So I'm going to use a couple. I'm not going to cut all that up. I did a couple pieces, and I'm just going to chop this just like I did the garlic. Okay, now we got all three, our ginger, our garlic, and our green onions. Right now we're going to be working with our garlic and our green onions. Our ginger is going to wait because it's going to go into our cabbage base. Okay, so we're going to put this to the side and we're going to work with this and we're going to show you what type of meat to use. Okay, ground pork. It's just, you can get this anywhere. You can get it, you can ask your butcher to ground it for you if you want, or you can go to your local grocery store and you can just ask for ground pork. It's just no flavor, just regular old mixed up ground pork, which is great. I've got a big giant bowl here. And this is about, altogether, I think this is a pound, but we're going to use half of this. So we're going to make this half of a pound of ground beef. Ground pork. All right, and we're going to take our hands and we're going to smush this up because we're going to be putting extra stuff in this ground pork. Okay, let's get together. Okay, once again, I'm putting a half pound, but it depends on how many egg rolls you're making. If you're making a lot of them, you might want to make a whole bunch of them, and then you probably want to go ahead and roll them after you make them and put them in a freezer. then do the whole pound if you want. If you don't, you know, just, you can do half or whole. I'm doing half because I'm not making that much. Well, I went to my local, you might not have. I have a Chinese store, a grocery store here, and I always go there when I'm making any kind of Chinese food or whatever. I've got a Mama Sita's, and this is, you can use this for like fried rice, egg rolls, and everything. And I'm just going to take a half teaspoon of this, and I'm just going to put it into my meat mixture. I'm also going to do a teaspoon of your famous soy sauce. Getting it everywhere. And then we got that garlic, guys. You remember that garlic? We got those green onions that we're going to stick in there. And we got part of this garlic we're going to stick in there because we're going to be using that garlic for something else. And we're going to do, maybe take a small clove. I had a bigger clove, but you just take half of that. Do a teaspoon. Do a half teaspoon of the garlic. Okay, then you're going to get your hands all messy and you're going to mix all this up. Making sure you get all the seasons in there. You're going to just mix it up like you're making a meatloaf. That's what we're going to do. We're making a meatloaf. We're going to let this sit for about 15 or 20 minutes because we're going to let it soak in all that flavor that we have in here with the onions and the garlic. We're just going to make sure. Adding 1/4 teaspoon of adding 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch. Don't want to forget about that. And you want to mix that up just as well until it gets incorporated. We're going to let this sit for about 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes, let it sit. It can sit in the refrigerator, let it soak up all those ingredients, and we'll be ready to cook it. Okay, I've been having my pan on a medium heat, getting it hot. I'm going to add a half teaspoon of olive oil because we do olive oil around here. All right, then I'm going to let that olive oil get there. Not even a whole bunch, it's just drizzle, just a drizzle. But when you get olive oil hot, guess what? It becomes more than a drizzle. And here's this meat that we have. We're going to stick our meat into this. You want to hear that sizzle. And you want to just start to cook this. And you want to make sure this starts to get chopped up really great. Okay, so I turned it down a little bit. And I'm turning it back up on a medium heat. Okay, I had switched to a fork because I cook better with a fork. I like to smush better with a fork. But you can, any way you want it. You want to get these as thin and small as possible. Okay, I'm adding that extra garlic in the middle of here. And I'm going to add this garlic to, I'm cooking that garlic there a little bit with that because I'm going to be adding this to cabbage. And this has to cool. So I'm doing my meat. We got to do our meat first because once we start getting our vegetables together and chopping those up and getting those, this meat has to be completely cooled and the garlic has to be completely cooked. And then what we need to do is we need to let this cool down and then we're going to be mixing this with our vegetables and then we're going to start rolling it. So just bear with us and let's cook this down. The whole time it's been cooking, I've been smashing and stirring because I want these pieces to be as small as I can get them. And you know, pork is very hard to get them in really mushy, you know, small pieces because once it starts cooking, it starts to hunk up. So you just got to constantly keep stirring. And here it is. And the oil that's in there and the oil that was, we're going to let this cool. This has to go off the stove and it has to cool. After I cleaned up, I decided to get out my carrot. This is a big carrot. I'm going to cut this carrot both ways. Cut this a little bit more down. I'm not going to use a lot of this carrot. And I'm going to shred all the nasty top part off, leaving me with a nice glossy part. We're going to wash this and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, showing you how to do it. If you don't have a potato peeler, and there's all kind of water, I just got through washing all my tools and stuff. If you don't have a potato peeler, you always can take the back of the knife, and you can scrape this as you go and get that same peel flavor as you can if you use a knife. Or you can turn it around and use a paring knife and just cut off the top of the carrot until you can see. You see how shiny and beautiful this is? You see how dull and nasty? This is disgusting. This is where the carrot comes out of the dirt and it grows and it leaves, and it's a bitter, nasty taste. Make sure when you peeling your carrot, you make sure anytime you use a carrot, you make sure you always peel the top of it off and make sure it's a nice, pretty, shiny color. That's what you want to look for when you peeling it, and that's the part that you're going to use. That first top, don't just start peeling it or rinsing it off and using it, because it's going to be a bitter taste in your food. It's a really nasty taste. A lot of people do that and they're not really rinsing their vegetables off great. You know, there's sometime you do them and it makes their food, it'll change the taste of your food. So here it is. I look all over to make sure I didn't leave any parts. And if you do, you just go and you cut it off and make sure everything looks great. If you're using a plastic board like this to cook, a cook set that cooks to cut stuff with, you're always going to get stains when you're using carrots, green onions, things that leave stains on here. The best way to get this off is to take it, set it over the sink, put some raw bleach on it, let it sit for about 15 minutes, scrub, wash, clean, and it's good to go. Okay, now we have rinsed off our carrot and we have dried it off with a paper towel. This little handy gadget again, I'm going to turn around just like I did last time. I am going to do the first time. I'm just going to take some wedges off the carrot. Big ones, small ones, it doesn't make a difference, because guess what? These are thin enough to go right into my egg rolls. You know, sometimes you get somebody to get the big old fat carrots in your egg rolls. Nobody wants that. I mean, I don't. If you do, you know, cut them up thin. If you don't have this gadget, you can also do it by julienne slicing them with your knife. Okay, if you don't like the big long pieces of carrots, you can take a knife, stack them up, run your knife over them, and just cut them in half. That's all you got to do. Okay, this is my Napa cabbage, which I picked this up. I got a piece of carrot on the thing. I picked this up at the Chinese store. Ooh, that's a lot of Napa cabbage they gave me. They must have thought I had a restaurant. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to tear off some leaves off this Napa cabbage. Probably a lot of these leaves off this Napa cabbage. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to rinse these and then let these dry, and I'm going to show you how to cut this up. Okay, so I'm lining these up together just like a head of lettuce. You want to cut off the base of your cabbage. You know, the base, kind of like the core, kind of like. Always cut off the base. I just line them up, cut them straight down. And now these are going to get rinsed in a cool bath, and then I'm going to drain these and, you know, drain them out with my processor. It really dries it out. Okay, so these are dry. I had put these in a salad spinner. If you don't have one, just take a couple paper towels and keep wiping them off, or just let them drain for a couple hours until they are completely dry. I'm taking it, they're not all the way, some of them are not all the way, so you're just going to get a paper towel over here, which I'm getting a fresh paper towel, and then you just want to lightly, you know, go over it, make sure you get all the water. This water is actually gone. It looks glazy and shiny. But if you have a salad spinner, it's so much better. If you don't, it's okay. Do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so I'm going to take 3 or 4 of these, and I'm just going to roll these up like a cigar and hold these. And I'm going to start cutting thin strips. And then there's that ginger, guys. Remember that little bit of ginger that I told you? Not a lot, but just a little bit. Maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of that ginger. And I'm just going to kind of toss this around, you know, like a salad. And then those carrots. We need those carrots. if they do seem big to you, my husband said, oh, those are like really, really kind of big. You know, but I mean, but they're thin big, but you can chop them down. Like I said, I chopped them down a little bit for him. You want to get that color in there. And with that, you know, salad spinner really did dry these off really, really great. So we're going to make, all I'm doing is just tossing, making sure I get every bit of carrot all through it and that cabbage in that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, guys, do you remember the Mama Sitas? Okay, I'm going to put some more of that in there. Let me get my measuring spoon. 1/2 teaspoon that I'm going to be using to put that in there. And I'm going to measure it out. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over like powder. Alrighty. I'm putting this up. You don't really need a lot of this. You want to take your dry hands, and what we're going to do, guys, we're going to toss it just like we did the last time. I want to get that all through this so everything can be seasoned. Now, I'm just trying to get season and flavor into those egg rolls. Okay, and this is our meat. Remember? Okay, and this is completely cooked. What I'm going to do with my meat is I'm going to drop all this meat into this my cabbage mixer, because this is like very cool. This has been sitting for a long time. And I'm going to toss this meat around in my cabbage and slaw mixture. Well, it looks like slaw, don't it? Okay, and I'm going to toss this really good, getting all these good ingredients mixed together with all my meat. Oh, look at that. There we go. And this is going to go into the wrapper. Okay, these are my spring roll wrappers. I'm going to cut these open, guys. And I'm going to get my spring roll wrappers out. These spring roll wrappers they have to keep these very moist. If you don't keep these moist, these can crack open and become really, really tough and hard. So I'm taking a spring roll wrapper out. It's really thin, look like sheet paper. And this is I'm going to be using with my hands, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of this and I'm going to put it around, and I am going to roll, folding each end over, and I am going to roll, folding each end. I'm going to get my little egg wash. See that? And I'm going to start sealing this on the outer side as I roll, making it completely rolled up. I'm going to continue to do this. In the meantime, you might want to keep these wrappers wet. So I'm going to get a damp paper towel. Okay, so you got to get some type of strategy when you're doing this. How much mix you're going to put in. Now these are a little bit smaller wraps than the spring rolls. So we're going to get our egg mixture, and we're going to tuck fold a little bit. I'm not a very perfect, wrapper. I'm not a professional, but I'm trying. Okay, now we got our spring rolls and we got our egg rolls. We're going to put these in the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes, and we're going to fry them up. Now these have been in the freezer for 45 minutes. We're going to fry our egg rolls and our spring rolls. So let's go over to the deep fryer. Okay, these are our egg rolls. We're going to drop these down and let them cook. Okay, I had to get out this is a little holder for your stuff when you go with your deep fryer. So these are the spring rolls. Now they're getting dropped. Okay, here we go. We have two different kinds. These are the egg rolls, and these are the spring rolls. You can tell the difference. These are our little, these are the ones that I told you that was real thick. And look at this, guys. Look at all those vegetables in there just showing. We got a presentation plate here, and we're gonna put these on. Look at those. These are wonderful. Those are egg rolls. And then also, guys, take a look at this. Take a look at those. Those are the spring rolls with all those vegetables and stuff showing. I love that presentation there. Here you go. There's another one. Okay, my rolling might not be all up to, but it's better than none. I've got some sweet and sour sauce here that I'm going to pour in this little container cup. There you go, guys. Okay, guys, I made my own little wontons. They're a little dark, but you can make them a little lighter if you want. The only reason why these came out like that because I wanted to make sure they was nice and crispy. So, my own little wontons here that I make, I'm going to put these on the side. Wonderful. And what I did to make these little wontons, I use each wrapper. Now, I use the egg roll wrapper, and I cut it up into like squares or strips, however you want it. And this one here is the lighter one. This is the other wrapper, that's the thin wrapper. This is the spring roll wrapper, and this is the egg roll wrapper. Instead of wrapping it, I cut one of each up, and I just fried these. This is one, and this is one. This is a little thicker, so you might like that. And for me, I actually made some egg drop soup. Some egg drop soup that I made, and the show is the egg rolls. Hey guys, I hope you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Guess what? We made this together. You and me. We did this together. We made these delicious egg rolls and spring rolls just for us. So hey, I hope you come back. I hope you like our show. Come back so we can make other shows. Hey, see you next time. Bye.